Together in Cleveland. Kyrie not playing for the Nets tonight. He has calf soreness. At last check, they were getting blown out by the Wizards. All right, Stephen A., you heard all of that. What is your perspective on Kyrie Irving and what he is doing right now to the Nets, to Kevin Durant, and to the entirety, I guess, of the league?
Well, ultimately, I have to retract because I thought that it was very, very idiotic for him to do what he did. I don't believe that any longer. Here's what I will tell you, especially listening to Woj, because he's absolutely on the money. You've got both Los Angeles teams. You've got the Dallas Mavericks, obviously the Phoenix Suns. I'm told all of them will pay him. Now, whether that's a 4-year guarantee or whatever remains to be seen, but they'd give him more than Brooklyn would give him. So we've got that situation going on. You also try to take into account the fact that when you're a star, they usually take care of you before that trading deadline or they move you. They don't let you play it out and then go into the offseason because obviously you're risking injury. And Kyrie Irving is definitely one of the top 15 players in the league so far as I'm concerned. So you see what he's doing. And now the question would be, okay, what would he do? Doesn't he have to play? Otherwise, he's going to hurt his stock. He's going to hurt his value even more. I'm told no, that wouldn't happen because at the end of the day, and not only that, Kyrie is still a kind of personality that says, I'll take my chances because based on the principle of him being a star, this is how stars get treated. You don't let me go into a contract year, completed a season, and then I got to wait until I'm a free agent in order to get paid. Kyrie Irving is prepared to sit out the rest of the season if need be. That's what I'm being told. I don't know whether I believe that, but that's what people are saying.
What do you think of that, Jalen?
Well, it's a lot of things. First off, just listening to the teams that you described, if I'm trading Kyrie Irving, I'm going to need an ascending all-star player in return. I don't need some picks 2 or 3 years from now to play with Kevin Durant because I still have KD. I'm trying to win a championship. But as I dissect the entire situation, I actually ain't mad at Kyrie. And it's the definition of using what you got to get what you want. And I always talk about you don't get what you deserve in business, you get what you have the leverage to negotiate. And right now, his leverage is as high as it's going to get a top-notch deal as a player. And he's going to maximize that. And truly, if the Nets aren't going to step up to pay him, and he got 4 teams that's willing to pay him and offer him a new situation to go do it, I ain't mad at him.
JJ, let's talk about those teams. All right, so if he were to, Woj just named them, Lakers, Clippers, Mavericks, Suns. Put him on any of those. Do they all become championship contenders, legit title contenders in the West if they pick up Kyrie Irving?
I don't love the fit in Dallas specifically, but I think on both LA teams and the Phoenix Suns, yes, they do become championship contenders. We talked about this earlier. In the Western Conference, there's 3 games that separate 4 to 13. Seeds 4 through 13, 4 of those teams, Dallas, Phoenix, Clippers, Lakers. So the balance of the Western Conference, if he ends up on one of those teams, will shift because he's that good of a player. I want to make 2 other points real quick. Stephen A., I agree with you. Star players rarely go into a contract year without an extension. But given what has transpired over the last 3.5 seasons, would you be comfortable if you were Brooklyn giving him a full 4-year max?
Hell no.
Okay. And the other point I want to make, and this is what is disappointing about this, from the time Jacques Vaughn took over to Kevin Durant's injury, this team was 25-8, the best record in basketball. They had a top 5 offense. They have a top 5 defense. Kevin Durant's going to come back at some point. They are a legit contender with their current roster.
Well, let's be very clear, just for clarity purposes. I'm not saying what they should do. I'm telling you what they're saying. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, if I'm Brooklyn, I don't blame Brooklyn one bit if they said, we ain't trading you anywhere. Play, damn it, we gave you 3 years. Could you give us 1? I don't blame them for taking that position at all. But when you've got 4 teams that are saying, we will pay him, we will take him, we're looking to give you assets in order to make it happen, like Woj just explained, then if you're Brooklyn, you have an obligation to at least listen and think about that.
But I think the question for a lot of teams and what teams are weighing is how much they're going to give up for him. Yeah. This isn't like Kevin Durant, who had a long-term deal already in place, and if it was at the end of his deal, you wouldn't think twice about extending him. There are concerns about length of deal, guaranteed money.
Right.
And teams know if we give up significant assets and this thing blows up on us, because we've seen it happen elsewhere, we're left with nothing. And that's the question teams have.
Right.
I don't know if if he went to LA and they made a deep run, and he was a huge part of it, and certainly LeBron wants him there. Yeah, there is leverage there to get a deal done. But I think in other places, there are teams, I think right now, owners, general managers deciding if this doesn't work out. We're looking at this more like a rental than a long-term partnership
real
right
key
now.
point that I want to add. You're right, but it's important to note this. They may not give Kyrie Irving the money he wants. But if anybody is out there is willing to give him or give the indication they're willing to give him more than Brooklyn is willing to give him, then it's an incentive for him to hold their feet to the fire and threaten to be disruptive to the rest of the season.
Jalen, the place we usually find Kevin Durant around now is on Twitter. I don't know that we've heard from him. I've been scouring. Can you just imagine what's going on in his head? If you're Kevin Durant, what's going through your head right now?
So he probably won't say this today, but as he looks back at his career, and you know, when you look back at your playing days, you always think about what ifs. He gonna regret leaving the Warriors. Like, that was a tailor-made situation. They just won 2 championships. He was the Finals MVP, and both of these guys had something to prove. Kyrie wanted to prove he can win without LeBron. KD wanted to prove that, like Stephen A. said, that wasn't the weakest moved up by a superstar ever. So they teamed up in Brooklyn to do something special, and they've come up short.
They were playing great, and then Durant got hurt, and now here we go again.
Well, look, I'm not going to speculate on what's going on inside Kevin Durant's brain right now, but that was my first thought, is Kyrie asking for a trade. What does this mean for Kevin Durant? And to Woj's point about them getting rotation-level players, impact players back in any sort of deal, whether it's a straight-up trade or a multi-team trade, you cannot waste the season that Kevin Durant is having. He has been that good. He's having an MVP-type season. When he's been on the floor for the Brooklyn Nets, they look like a contender.
You're the Nets right now, and you're trying to get at those Lakers draft picks. They're not to use in 2027, yes. 2029. You're trying to use those picks right now to move them on somewhere else to get players back right now at the trade deadline. That's how you put together a 3 or 4 team deal with Kyrie Irving.
Finish it up for us, Stephen A.
The only thing I wanted to piggyback off of what Jalen said. It's not that he left Golden State to go elsewhere. I'm talking about Kevin Durant. What will forever be attached to him is that he left Steph Curry to join Kyrie Irving. You placed your trust in a person that for one reason or another found a reason to create headlines and not be as available as you would have anticipated he would have been. That ultimately is going to get attached to Kevin Durant, more so than just saying, well, you know what, I want to depart from Golden State.
Well, once again, we will be glued to Woj's Twitter feed, awaiting any possible word as we'll wait and see if the Nets do wind up trading Kyrie Irving between now and out west between now and Thursday. Stephen A., what is your expectation? What would you like to see with Kyrie?
I would love to see him in a Los Angeles Lakers uniform. Now, I must confess, it's for personal reasons. I'd rather be in L.A. Than some of these other places, and the Clippers just absolutely bore me, and Kawhi is a complete turnoff because he's Mr. Load Management. But I would tell you, when I think about Kyrie Irving in a Los Angeles Lakers uniform with AD and LeBron James, that does fascinate me.
How about that? What do you think?
I will talk more about Kyrie Irving when a trade actually happens. I'll be honest with you. I want to actually turn my attention to this game right here because I'm trying to find some consistency from Golden State. They have a top 5 offensive player of all time, yet they're 17th in the league. They're an average team right now.
I'm going back to Kyrie. The Warriors by 10 plus. I want to see him in LA too, but I want to see him playing for a team that doesn't have retired numbers, that doesn't have statues, that doesn't have Hall of Famers. I want to see him with the Clippers.
You know, if they made that trade...
Not when you got LeBron playing the way that he's been playing, no.
If they made that trade...
Tyronn Lue.
No.
It could be very convenient if they do it tomorrow. The Clippers play the Nets on Monday. So Kyrie could get traded to the Clippers and not have to go anywhere.
I've been there.
Skip the game.
Just staying there. Well,
I've been there.
Even if he's on the Clippers, we will see. All right.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.